I don't eat certain things though. But yeah, I would. That's a pretty nice breakfast. I'm glad I wore the black shirt. I wouldn't be able to see anything if it was all white. Not that that's white, but if I step out of the way, I can barely see anything. It's very bright. It's very bright. Today we're going to talk about the stuff that we've been talking about for a bit here, which is the good old true sidereal / Krystic astrology. And like I said, it's true sidereal because it is based on true sidereal. It's the actual placement of the planets in the sky, their true and actual place. You can go to theskylive.com and you can verify where the planets are in the sky. So you know, that's what I work on, is what is the truth? What are we seeing, right? As opposed to how tropical works, which tropical really froze the sky about 2,000 years ago. So every March 20th, we start Aries season, whether or not the sun is actually in Aries. And I just rather operate on the element of truth. So I do true sidereal and Krystic astrology. Krystic astrology is when we're looking at the celestial bodies as what they actually are, where we're looking at the signs as how they're actually meant to be seen and reviewed. And then we're looking at our chart in a way that is actually beneficial to us, because it's not a personality test. Right? It's meant to show you your soul stream. So how you're meant to, and it's far more than just how you're meant to live in this lifetime. It gives you indication about past life stuff. It gives you your like things around karmic and ancestral wounding. There's so much that you can learn about your journey and journeys that you've had before. So our current positions of our planets are the sun in Scorpio, the moon in Aquarius. Both Mercury and Venus are still in Libra. Mars is in Ophiuchus, Aquarius is in Saturn, and Uranus is in Taurus. Neptune is in Pisces, and Pluto is in Capricorn. So that's the quick rundown of where everything is. So we're not in the season of Aquarius. We are still in Capricorn, because that's where Pluto is in Capricorn. But it has its effects, and those effects are being felt right now, and it's a lovely thing. So the heavens remain steady today with the moon in Aquarius and the sun in Scorpio, plus all of the other planets that stayed where they were yesterday. So yesterday's invitation was into that deep soul truth that Scorpio brings, plus the visionary realignment that Aquarius gives to us. This is a powerful opportunity for you to step outside the outdated constructs of the world, or outdated ways that you've been holding yourself. The way that you see yourself, your purpose, and your timeline. These things can change because you're going to be looking at it through that future lens of where you want to get to. And whoever or wherever you want to get to involves making changes today, right? You have to do something to be that in the future. So what do you need to do? Well, if you're going to run a marathon, you have to start running. You have to start training. There has to be a training process to run a marathon. And the same thing's true for most things in life, right? There's going to be experiences that are going to teach you something. And as you learn, you're going to grow and evolve and take on more, I'm sure. So we've got our sun in Scorpio. This is the Phoenix Gate, the Oversoul mirror, and soul contract flame. So Scorpio, hi, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm not doing that right now. Maybe at the end, if I have time, I'll talk about some stuff like that. But right now, I'm going to talk about this for everybody. Okay, so Phoenix Gate and Oversoul Mirror and Soul Contract Flame. So that's with Scorpio in the sun sign. That changes tomorrow. Tomorrow is November 29th. And for me, at 16:24 in the afternoon, it becomes Ophiuchus season. And this isn't going to be something that is happening in mainstream astrology because they don't acknowledge Ophiuchus as a sign. And they're also not looking at where the sun actually is in the sky. They're going by the dates that were set many, many moons ago. So we will just begin Sagittarius season after Scorpio season ends. That's just, and then we keep rolling in that direction on the set dates that they're on. So I like to go by, like I said, true sidereal, because it's what's truthfully in the sky at this time. And to me, the truth matters. So here we are. So Scorpio is inviting that full spectrum transformation. Under the Krystic lens, this is not about darkness or suffering. Scorpio gets a pretty bad rap about being intense and being mysterious and, being shady and ferreting out the truth. Although Scorpio energy is good at revealing the truth. That is a true part of the Scorpio energy. So what Scorpio is about is truth, depth, power, and transmutation, but it's sacred transmutation. You are not becoming something new. You are just remembering who you've always been. That's what you're learning. You're just getting rid of all the lies. That's your whole job, is just to find the truth. Thanks, love. Is just to find the truth. Hi, Carol. Hi, everybody. If I didn't say hi to you, hi, everybody. Love to you. I lost my train of thought because I had to give out some love to everybody, but that's okay. All right, so we've got the moon in Aquarius. Wait. I didn't finish Scorpio yet. So Scorpio is about sacred transmutation. Scorpio carries the flame of remembrance, the gift of X-ray sight. So if you're Scorpio or you have Scorpio placements, these are powerful energies that you have because of that Scorpio being in those placements, right? So that X-ray sight and the courage to burn away illusion. So there's a lot of courage in the Scorpio energy, and the ability to see the truth in things, and to remember that is in fact the truth, because that's how you know. Right? You're remembering when you start aligning with your body and you start to really connect to your physical, because your body's giving you signals all the time about the world around you through frequency, right? What you're feeling in and the energy around you, but you have to be able to feel. And one of the reasons why we're not feeling very much these days is because we are so busy. We've given everything to the brain. The brain is the driver of the bus, like in mainstream. They want us to just stay with the logic. What can you prove? Science, math, it's very logic centered. And when we give everything to the logic, we're bypassing all of the information that we get from our heart. And it's picking up information that we're oftentimes not even aware of. It picks it up before our brain knows it. And it's actually what's telling our brain what to do through the network that exists between the heart and the brain. Between trauma and food that is also being treated like medication with all of the chemicals that are in it, medications, everything else that's going on, all the different ways that we are being affected by toxins that are not in alignment with us, that just further mutes our ability to hear and feel what's going on. And when I mean hear, I mean hearing with your body. So that's, pushing you out of alignment. It's just everything that's pushing you out of alignment. Lost my train of thought. It's okay. Time for a sip of tea. It'll come back to me. It usually does. All right. So we've got the moon, back to Scorpio. This is where I keep going off and talking a little bit about Scorpio, and then I don't finish him. So let's finish the sun in Scorpio. So you're not becoming something new. You are just remembering what has always been. That's where we left off. This is the gateway of reclaiming your power, purpose, and purity of alignment with the divine blueprint. That's what Scorpio is helping you get to. It's helping you pull back the layers to get to the truth, to remember. And when you feel that in your body, and that's where I went off on this whole feeling thing. The more that we can detoxify ourselves from all the things out there meant to distract us, the more that we can heal the traumas within our bodies, allow ourselves to freely release those emotions that we've been holding on to and storing, the more that we can step into our alignment, the more that we're feeling, right? And we're feeling everything that's going on around us, and we're able to respond differently. And from that aligned space, everything's going to align to you because life's a mirror. So we have the moon in Aquarius. I was really excited to get to Aquarius because, because I'm going to give you a little bit of extra about Aquarius. So this would, when I talk about Aquarius, it doesn't matter where the Aquarius placement is for you. I'm just talking about Aquarius energy and what Aquarius represents. But first, we're going to talk about how it shows up in the moon. So your moon is your emotional landscape. And the moon transits between the signs every 2.5 to 3 days, depending on the size of the sign, because not all signs occupy the same size within the sky. So it takes longer to transit through some of them. So Aquarius, in its Krystic form, is not rebellion for rebellion's sake. It is divine innovation rooted in remembrance. The Aquarian moon highlights your ability to see beyond the present limitations, to anchor timelines that are aligned with unity, service, and soul advancement. So Aquarius is looking for these things and trying to align us with that. And that's why they rebel against the other structures, is because they're looking for that unity alignment. But that's when it's in, when it's in proper alignment. It rules quantum leaps and sacred technology, collective consciousness, and the interstellar intelligence within you. When the moon arrives through or moves through Aquarius, it's an opportunity to rewrite what's possible through the lens of your highest frequency vision, because Aquarius is the visionary. It's seeing the future and what is the best for humanity in the future. What is the best for me in the future? How can I be the most, how can this be the most unified thing that honors the collective? So that's the energy of Aquarius. Today's sky opens the harmonic doorway between the truth of your soul, which is the Scorpio energy, and the future encoded in your DNA, the Aquarius energy. So it's powerful energy when you understand the true alignments of the sky. You're looking at the truth of the planets. But most of us were operating under distortion, because we were being told that, well, the sun and moon are here and here, even though they aren't, which is disruptive. So many people were taught that Scorpio was mysterious, dark, even dangerous, right? But in its true essence, Scorpio is the flame of soul purification, the initiator of truth, the midwife of rebirth. It teaches us how to die in illusion, or like kill the illusion, get rid of that, and resurrect in light, to resurrect in the truth. And Aquarius is often misunderstood as cold or chaotic. In its purified form, Aquarius is the sacred architect of the future, the builder of worlds, the visionary of that dares to live beyond the collective script that we're under, right? Aquarius is going to blaze that new path and bring innovation to us, but that innovation that's aligned, which is beautiful. So Aquarius does not escape reality; it rewires it. And this is how Krystic Astrology works, right? I look at what the truth is of the signs, what the truth is of the planets, how we're meant to utilize astrology for our benefit, not and looking at the true sky. So we're not doing rituals to a new moon that isn't even in that sign. And to me, that's where it really started making sense. Why am I having a new moon ritual in Scorpio when the moon's in Libra? It doesn't make any sense. And it's a new moon in Scorpio because the sun's supposedly in Scorpio, but the sun's in Libra too. So why am I doing a new moon ritual in Scorpio? It doesn't make sense. It does when you understand how much we are made to be out of alignment by these little tiny things. And some of them aren't very tiny, they're actually much larger. But it just makes us get out of alignment with our truth. So it's up to us to determine through discernment what is the truth. And the easiest way to really begin to discern what is the truth, and this is what everybody needs to do. It doesn't matter who you are. We all need to learn how to discern the truth. And the best way to do that is to connect to your body, to start to feel into the environment around you, because it's going to tell you a lot more than your brain ever will. So if you're still really numbed out or avoiding and stuff like that, then that's something that you'll need to work through. The more that you can clear the trauma from your body, the more that you can hear yourself actually speak your truth. So we're going to talk about Oversoul, and we're going to talk about ego today. So we're going to go a little bit deeper into Oversoul truth. So the first part I like to talk about is the Krystic Astrology stuff. And I do readings in this. They are soul stream readings for one person. I do synastry readings for two people. They're not on my website. These are absolutely huge readings. I'll explain them maybe a little bit later. Or if you want more information in case I, forget at the end of the live to talk about it again. But if you do want more information, you can always send me an email or book a clarity call or anything like that. So I also have been teaching a lot about Oversoul, and there may be some confusion about Oversoul. I know a lot of people refer to higher self. And I'm just bringing the terminology that I feel very comfortable with using. And it's the way that I'll describe it here, but you'll understand why. But you can think of it as what we would refer to as, your higher self. But I'm going to explain more. So we're going to dive deeper into Oversoul truth today. We're going to talk about what the Oversoul actually is and how it works, and what happens to the ego when you step into embodiment. Because I figure that would be a pretty good place to start with the Oversoul education. So the sky today supports this completely, because we have the sun in Scorpio and the moon in Aquarius, which is helping us to access truth, clarity, and higher intelligence. So it's a beautiful day to talk about this. All right, so what the Oversoul actually is. Most people think the Oversoul is something outside of them, something distant, something spiritual, but it's not separate from you. It never has been, and it hasn't been. Your Oversoul is the highest version of you, and that's where higher self comes into play, and why many people will see it as being a higher self. And that's fine if you want to use that terminology. The reason why I use Oversoul is because it's not all about just being the highest version of yourself. I try not to look at things with that kind of hierarchical level. Your Oversoul is like overarching. We'll explain it here. So your Oversoul is the highest version of you. It's the part of you that has never forgotten. It is the you that has full memory of your purpose, your lifetime, your destiny, your agreements, and your truth. It's you, the truest of you. It is, if your human self, we looked at it like a tree, if your human self is a branch, your Oversoul is the root of the tree. Okay. So that root of that tree if we're looking at kind of as above, so below, right? Your oversoul would be overarching because the root system would expand out further than the tree, right? So that's why I think of it in that sense, because the oversoul is the whole tree. It's not just feeding that one branch, it's feeding the entire tree. So that's the way that I explain that. The Oversoul holds your entire blueprint of who you are, your gifts, your lessons, your timelines, your path, your mission, your next step, your highest expression. It is your direct line to divine intelligence. I actually have a book that shows this. It has a picture in it that actually demonstrates exactly what I'm talking about. So let me get to it because there's a few pictures that it has in it. I have to find the right section. All right. So this is a good diagram. If this is you, right, this would be your oversoul, and this would be the source of all creation. So it's just your direct line, right? It's your direct line to source, but it's your individuality that is separate from source. Does that help? I don't know if that image helped at all, but some people are visual, so that picture made me think about it. So your oversoul does not communicate in fear or urgency, because that's the other part is, well, how do I know that I'm speaking with my higher self or with my oversoul? How do I know? Because it communicates in clarity, it communicates in calm, it communicates in knowing. There's not, I don't know what we should do here. That's not your oversoul. That's your ego. If you're sitting there and you're like, I don't know what to do. It could be this, or it could be that. It could be this, it could be that. That's your ego. Your oversoul isn't going, well, it could be that, maybe, I don't know, possibly, confused right now. That's your oversoul is very certain, right? Because it's not in this little window that we're looking through. It sees the whole. So there are 4 main signals to know that you're speaking with your oversoul, and one is a clear sense of knowing. It's like I said, it's not wishy-washy, it's not uncertain, it's not going to make you feel confused. 2, there's a feeling in the body, often the chest or in the solar plexus. You'll feel a warmth, or like a settling, a grounded feeling. 3 is that it's a directive thought that arrives fully formed. So it's not something, like I said, that's going to confuse you. It's not going to leave you questioning, like, what is it telling? What is it? What am I supposed to, huh? That's not your oversoul. That's your ego. Your ego is the only one that's going, I don't know what to do. Because your ego is like, I don't know what to do to, so that I show up the best, so that I, whereas your oversoul is like, just relax, we got this. You just have to remember. So the oversoul communication is very powerful. It's quiet. It doesn't shout. It doesn't argue. It just simply is. It just speaks to you. So someone brought up a question and asked, what happens to the ego when you go into embodiment? And so I wanted to talk about that today, because in spirituality, a lot of people talk about ego death, and a lot of people actually promote that as something that you're supposed to do, that you're somehow supposed to go on this, discovery journey or delve into the depths of your soul. You're supposed to eventually kill your ego. That's not the case. So some people think that embodiment, because of what I'm talking about, that is effectively going to kill the ego, and I just want to put that to rest. It does not. And the ego is not your enemy. The ego is your safety system. And it is trying to protect you. And I talked about this back in phase 1 of Bridge to Light, about how it protects you when you're trying to heal from your trauma. Because, when you don't want to take a risk, let's say, for me, I've had a company for 4 years. And, I might not want to take a risk on another company. And the reason why I may not want to take a risk on another company could be because of the experiences I had with the first company. That makes sense. That's your ego. Your ego's like, well, wait a second. Look what happened here. It's going to happen again, because your ego can't see the future. It only sees the past, and it builds everything in the front of you based on everything from the past. Whereas your oversoul's like, I know what we're supposed to do here. I know the direction. I wrote the map. I can see outside of time and space. So talk to me. And we're all like, la, 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 la. Can I go on my phone? Can I watch TV? Can I don't know, do a whole bunch of other things rather than sit in silence and just talk to my oversoul or my higher self, or meditate, or stuff like that. So the problem is that the ego only knows the past. It cannot see the future. It cannot sense your destiny. It doesn't know those things. It can only repeat what it has already lived. And it wants to repeat certain things because what we talked about when we were doing all the trauma healing for the last few years, we were always talking about how familiarity, although maybe not safe, to your nervous system and to your ego, it's better the devil you know. It's better to stay here, because what if it's worse, right? So your ego will keep you trapped instead of allowing it to heal because of that fear, right? Because its only experience is what's already happened. It has no experience beyond that. So we want to quiet the ego, or don't kill it. So when you step into Oversoul embodiment, something really wonderful happens. Your ego stops driving the car, which is good, because can you imagine driving down the road and it's the guy that's looking out the back window that's driving the car forward? Because the road's exactly the same going forward as it was that we just came down, right? Right? We're safe. We're safe to have the guy that's looking out the back window driving the car, because that's what it is when your ego's in control. So the guy that's looking out the rear view window is driving. Instead, the ego moves into the passenger seat. It no longer leads, it follows. And that's what you want. You want your ego as the passenger on the journey. You don't want it, you're not getting rid of it. So just talk to the boss and have the pilot and the pilots, or like the co-pilot and the co-pilot seat. It becomes quieter, it becomes less reactive, less fearful, less controlling. And that's also what we want, right? So how do we just have to stop and listen, and then start following, following the one that's giving us the correct information instead of the ego that's looking out the rear window, because that's, so your ego starts to feel better because your ego is finally supported by a higher intelligence, is what ends up happening. So, blinded by the light. I'm not going to sing it, but so embodiment is not ego death. That's what we were saying. And I hope that you get that. It's just ego reorientation. That's all you're doing, is you're putting your ego where it's supposed to be. It's not meant to drive the bus, okay? And you're putting the captain in control like they're supposed to be. That's all it is. You're listening to the right source as you move through your day. So today's sky supports all of the stuff that we're talking about, and it's awesome when you just begin to apply layers. It might seem like a lot when you're looking at Krystic Astrology and embodiment and. But embodiment isn't as difficult as you think it is, right? Embodiment is listening to yourself. That's a really big part of it. It's having boundaries where you should have boundaries. It's saying no when you should say no. It's resting without judging yourself. It's nurturing your body and treating it like a temple. It's using your life like it's an altar, the way that you move through your day. And it seems like a lot, because you're so out of sync, maybe for some of us, out of sync with how we're meant to really live. And when you start to allow yourself to live the way that you're supposed to, and slowly pick one thing at a time that you're going to start to change in your life to pull you back to how you're supposed to live, and start by having conversation with your oversoul and allow your oversoul to determine how should we navigate this path forward, right? What is the best way for me to embody you? Show me the way, a wise one, right? So the sun in Scorpio reveals the truth you have been trying not to see. Moon in Aquarius frees you from old patterns and activates higher intelligence. Mercury and Venus in Libra bring clarity in relationships and communication. Mars in Ophiuchus gives you the will to break cycles, and Pluto in Capricorn restructures your foundation. So in other words, today is the perfect day to step out of your old identity and into the oversoul-led self. Just take 10 minutes in the morning. Take whatever you can. I take around between 20 minutes and a half an hour, somewhere in there. I don't set a timer. I just sit there. I wanted to ask you what tea you were having, Crystal. Hello. Greetings to you. I'm good. How are you, Tarot Time? How are you? So, yeah. What tea are you having? I lost my train of thought, so I'm just going to go back to what I was saying. We're going to do a little practice. Aw, silly thing. Yeah, I feel like I need to go out and check and make sure that my my satellite thingy for my internet is cleared off. Me too. How do you drink your Earl Grey? Do you just drink it black? Do you put sugar in it, milk in it? How do you drink your Earl Grey? Riveting conversation here. I know. Just milk, not cream. If you mean real cream, like cream, just milk. Earl Grey, just milk. It makes it just a little creamier. I post like really yummy teas. I post yummy teas in my Ascension Pathway group. Ascension Gateway, sorry. I was going to say it right the first time. I put it in the Ascension Gateway group. I go full fat milk. That's all. Goat's milk's pretty, I do enjoy goat's milk. Coffee man, nice. Coffee's good. I spent a lot of years drinking coffee, but my system feels more balanced when I drink tea. And I drink a lot of different herbal teas and stuff too, but I do love my Earl Grey or chai. Yeah, but what is it replacing? What's it been replaced with? But anyway, I digress. Okay, so we're going to do a little activity, right? Because I always make you guys do a practice, and this is so that you can hear your oversoul, right? It's an embodiment, right? So you're going to place your hand on your chest. You can place two hands on your chest, but at least place one hand on your chest. Close your eyes if you can, safely so. Please don't close your eyes if you're driving or operating anything like a heavy thing. Yeah, now you're talking. Making good coffee then with the butter in it. All right, hand on your chest, close your eyes, and we're gonna just deepen and slow our breath. So we wanna breathe into our stomach, up to our chest, and then exhale slowly through our mouth. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. Depending on how loud your mind is or how elevated your energy is, you may need more than one breath. Most people need 3, some need 5, some are good with 2, and there are a few who are very balanced and, they're really calm to begin with. What you want to focus on is the space that's coming up as you're breathing in and out and slowing it down and connecting to the present moment. Now, you're going to ask yourself some questions. And remember, your oversoul is calm, direct. Probably going to be the first thing that's going to pop into your head. So if your oversoul was leading your life today, what would you stop doing? So just ask it, what would I stop doing? If I let you run my life, what would I stop doing? Did you hear something? What would you begin? Right? If your oversoul was running the show, what would you begin? Another question for you. If that one was answered, we'll just give it a moment. I love it. What would I choose? If my oversoul was running the show, what would I choose? You just want to feel the first answer, right? That's your oversoul. It comes in quick, it comes in direct, it's felt, right? I think you should quit doubting yourself. I think you should choose yourself. I think I think that your oversoul is correct. You should stop eating that immediately. It's terrible food. It shouldn't even be classified as food. To me, that's just clear evidence that our health, like the FDA or the Canadian Food and Health or the any of those organizations or governments, the people that make it themselves, none of them actually care about us because of how toxic McDonald's is to eat, how unhealthy it is for every one of us. The whole system fails every single one of us by allowing that to be allowed on the market. So that's what Bridge to Light Phase 2 is all about, is teaching you how to live from embodiment. Yes. I like that. I like that. My birds outside. We got some snow last night. It was just absolutely lovely. So we're working on oversoul embodiment and higher intelligence, rewiring the nervous system to handle clarity instead of fear. It's weird why it tells me new message because it didn't scroll up. I was like, thank you. We're going to learn how to live from the oversoul rather than the ego. And so if this makes you feel something, then it's something that's maybe in alignment with you, right? And that's what you'll learn to identify more and more, which is beautiful. I love that. I love it. That's a beautiful one. And you should choose yourself against all odds. So it's, not to call you a horse, but it's a horse worth betting on, right? Just to use the saying, not to call you a horse. That'd be pretty rude. So you are not becoming your oversoul. You don't have to become something. You just have to remember. That's all we're doing on this, is we're just remembering the truth that we've known all along, and that our oversoul has never forgotten, that we'd remember sooner if we connected with our oversoul. It's great how it works. It really is. When you start living from your oversoul and you start embodying it, your ego stops protecting you, because you stop thinking like you're living in fear. And yes, The Secretariat. I love that. Such a good movie. I don't know if I'm one of those people now that I've had so many truths and revelations and stuff. I have a real hard time watching TV and movies. A very, very hard time. But I have so many other things that I can do with my time. I have a beautiful yard. I have all these birds. I can just watch bird vision, my bird or or animal visions when there's foxes or coyotes or deer that are running across the property. I can paint or do a whole bunch of other things, write another book, create another course. But that's who I am. All of us have different energy and are meant to express it differently through lives. And some of us have very fast moving energy where we do a lot of things like this. Some of us just have to be, right, Carol? I don't know if Carol's still there, but right, Carol? Some of us just have to be. So yeah. All right. I'm only doing a short one today. I'm going to check and see and make sure that I didn't miss anything. I do know from experience that living from your oversoul as opposed to from your ego has amazing effects to your life. And I have enjoyed everything that has changed in my life. Not even a year ago, I was pretty much homeless if it wasn't for my mom allowing me to stay in her home. And so that was the only thing that saved me from being homeless. And things can change so quickly and so greatly. And it does so because of how much your devotion to your highest frequency is, right? And that's what your oversoul is. So devote yourself to reconnecting to your oversoul and allowing your oversoul to be the pilot of your life. So you start going in the aligned direction and everything magnetizes to you so much faster then. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So yeah, check out the website on Sha'Ryah. There's books, there's all kinds of things there. And also check out my other check out my other channels. I have One Truth Sets You Free. I'm putting up a new episode today, which is actually episode 39. So there's 39 episodes on One Truth Sets You Free. I have books and courses and all kinds of things at my website. Check those out as well. And mini classes and all kinds of things. But if you have any questions, the best thing to do is just sign up for a free clarity call. So you can have your questions answered, and you can also maybe find out about some things that aren't quite listed on the site yet, like Krystic Astrology, soul stream reading, or synastry reading. Those ones are ones that I am putting out there, and there's a bundle pack as well. But anyway, I love you guys. Have a great Friday. Enjoy your day, and I will see you guys possibly tomorrow. I might do a live tomorrow because we have 2 planets transiting in to new signs. So I may do a surprise live just to talk about the celestial alignment. But otherwise, I'll see you guys back here on Monday at 1 p.m. Mountain, approximately. If I run into town on Monday for any reason and I'm late getting back, it would just be later in the day. But I have no plans to do that yet. My plan is Tuesday. Have a great day, guys. Love you. Have a great day. Love you too.